Greetings and welcome to Refuge Depot, where we're going to be talking today about get home bags. And before we get into the subject, we just want to encourage everyone who is watching this program today to like, to subscribe, and to follow us on our YouTube channel. We also want you to become a Patreon member. You can go to patreon.com/refuge depot. And in there, we're going to have, when we discuss some of these programs, then what we do is in our Patreon site, we also put, for instance, the last program that we discussed was on uh, safety, women's safety. So in the Patreon, by you becoming a member, you get some perks, which are we're going to put in there a list of things that we talked about that you can then disseminate to your wife, to your daughter, to your mother, to any family member, female family member that you may have. And we stress this because if you are paying attention to the news, and a lot of people are becoming very distracted by things that are going on, things are getting so many things are hitting the fan. It's just not Ukraine. It's just not the ICC issuing an arrest warrant for Benjamin Netanyahu. It is also the uh, wildfires that are going on. It's these diseases that are cropping up, the bird flu and the COVID. It's the drought. It's so many things that are going on. So that's why this program is so important. And we want you to also invite your family members to also subscribe to our channel. So, what we're going to be talking about today, once again, is part one. We're talking about get home bags. And we have, of course, my two co hosts are going to be the ones who are going to be running the show. And so I want to first bring on Mr. Aaron Olinger. And like I say, he is an individual who is like a walking encyclopedia when it comes down to disaster preparedness. Now, for me, I say that no one is exactly an expert because there's so much to know. However, if you want to get close to what you could call an expert, this brother is it. And our other partner, Mr. Sanford Whitlow. So let me go ahead and bring Brother Aaron up. All right. Greetings, brother.
How you do today, Steve?
Oh, I'm doing well, doing well. I think many people, this change of weather has gotten us to where if, well, let's just say it this way, that we definitely need to make sure we're eating right, exercising, taking proper care of our bodies, because the temperature is fluctuating in certain parts of the country. I read that it was a heat wave, and overnight it turned snow was hitting the ground. So we definitely got to maintain our health in these rough times. And so we're have a few technical issues with Brother Whitlow's internet, but we'll go ahead and get right on into it. I'm going to go ahead and put this flyer up, and it's called Emergency Bug Out Bags. So before we go into describing the Get Home bag, can you give us an understanding of why we need a emergency bug out bag or emergency bag, or some might call it a to go bag?
Okay. Originally, FEMA had set up that everyone should have a disaster bag in case they'd have to bug out or in case there's a disaster that help cannot get to you for 2 or 3 days. So the original premise was the bags were set up on 72 hours. But then it was found out later that you had to have specialty bags for different situations. Like there's basically five. One's called an EDC, stands for everyday carry. Next one would be a GHB, that's your get home bag. That would be one that you'd keep in your vehicle, and it would have about a day and a half of supplies in it in case something happened, an EMP occurred, your car shut off, and you had to walk home from work. Third one would be your bug out bag, which that's called your Bob, and that's based upon 3 days. And then down south, they don't call them Bobs, they call them good bags, and good stands for get out of Dodge. And
I
then,
like that.
and then, and then the last and final bag would be your inch bag. Inch stands for I'm never coming home. The
Mm.
situation is so dire. I mean, you've got Taliban coming down the street to your house, or you've got Chernobyl happening, and you got to leave now. And chances are you're not going to be able to return.
Mhm.
So, what you would have on your back is all you would have, and that's going to determine how well you're going to make it in the field. So, that bag's going to be a little bit bigger and it's going to be a lot heavier than your other bags. But
All right.
we use the example of Hurricane Harvey when it hit Texas. Flooding was so extensive that people had to wade in water to get to a collection point where boats could pick them up and take them to safety. But until the currents and that flood water slowed down to where people could easily wade into it, um, you had to stay in your home. You would have had no power. You would have had no water. You would have had to survive on what you would have had in your disaster kit. And
Mhm.
that's another reason why they're so vital. Is again, Mother Nature is providing 300 disasters a year around the world, and you just don't know what you're going to be faced with, not counting what man-made disasters can occur. So it's
Yeah.
always good to have a disaster kit on hand. And today's topic, which is the get home bag, is the one that you're going to keep in your car to make it possible for you to reach home safely in the event you had to get out and walk.
Hmm. Okay.
So,
And if you can, and I know this is just throwing it out there, but what are maybe some situations that that could occur?
well, just I'm gonna use like the snowstorm in Atlanta. I mean, it was no more than a half an
After
inch,
transfer.
but people were stuck out there on the highway, and being stuck on the highway, a lot of them ran out of gas because they're out there on the highway
Right.
a quarter of an inch. Traffic was at a standstill, and as soon as their car stops, it becomes a roadblock for everything that's behind it. And
Mm.
a lot of people started abandoning their cars, trying to walk. Now, with that get home bag being in your vehicle, you would have extra food, water, you'd have extra supplies on hand, and that's what you want to have is that emergency go to. Or let's say you get stuck in a snowstorm somewhere and you got to wait on rescue to come. Well,
Mm.
those having those extra provisions inside the car and items could help to take care of you and maybe keep you warm until rescue could arrive. And in the
Mhm.
event that we get into a nuclear war and an EMP weapon is used on the United States, it's going to kill your electronic computer and it'll kill your solenoid in your car. And
Mm.
you're going to have to walk at that point. You could be at work and have to walk home. Or let's say
Mm.
that your vehicle, somebody flattens your car tire because there's civil unrest going on and there's massive rioting. You may need to have that kit to be able to try to get home and stay hidden in an abandoned house or something overnight, and then leave during the early morning hours before as the sun starts to come up before everybody gets back out on the streets and start to act up. It'll
Mm.
give you the ability to have some comforts to get you through the situation,
Mhm.
and it's
And
vital to have. Go ahead.
yeah, that's good, very good information. And so, so we can get right on into it. I think, so that to go back before we get into the all of the elements that you'll have in your to go bag. where should you store that to go bag, and how should you store it?
Well, I would, if I had just a regular car, I'd keep it in the trunk. Or if I had an SUV, I'd keep it right there in the medium in between the two seats. That'd be the perfect place to have it. Uh, and it's handy. It's within reach to be able to get to. And in the event that you're stuck in traffic or something, you can just reach down and have access to your bag. So that's probably where
Mhm.
I would keep it at.
All right, excellent, excellent. All right, then. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. I'm gonna go ahead and let you take it from here, and then we'll bring on brother Sanford when he gets his everything set up on his end.
Okay. Now, your get home bag is going to be one of your smaller bags of the five. The EDC and the get home bag could be one and the same, your everyday carry. Uh, this is mine right here. As you can see, it's a sling bag, just goes across your body. Nice size pouch. What I purchased was a medics kit that was actually a medics bag, and I
Mm,
sell these, by the way. And they have many, many pockets on them and pouches. And it's the most universal bag that I could see. They run you about $39. And like I said, it's a sling bag, something that you can just drape across your body and it would hang right at your side, or you could pull the strap and put it right on the back of your hip, and you could just go ahead and just take a walk. Now,
mm.
what I added to it right off the bat, I'm gonna cover what I have on the outside first. You can
Okay.
see this camouflage kit here. This is called a IFAK, IFAK. That's infantry first aid kit. So that was one of the first things I wanted to add, because you don't know if you would become injured, or your or loved one that you're with riding in the car with you, or a friend could become injured, and you'd have to treat those wounds. And you definitely want to
Mm,
treat them, because you don't want infections set in and get somewhere and they start to get, their condition gets worse. Now, one of the things that I added to the infantry first aid kit was this.
mhm,
That's a tourniquet, because it's very easy to get lacerations to your extremities in a
mhm,
situation. And if you can control bleeding, you can save a person's life. If you have no tourniquets with you for your legs or arms, your extremities, then 9 times out of 10, you'll bleed out, or you'll have to sit there and helplessly watch someone bleed out while you're hoping help can arrive in time. This is
mm.
something right here that is a must have. No first aid kit I know comes with it. So that's something that
And
you
what is
definitely
and
want
what
to
is
have.
that again?
It's a what I call a it's a tourniquet.
Okay.
You put it around your
Yeah,
arm, pull it tight, and then you
right.
turn the stick on top. You turn it 3 times, lock it in, and then you write on it with magic marker what time you put it on that person or what time you put it on yourself. Because when the medics arrive, they need to know that information so they know
Mm,
how soon they can start to release that before it starts to become a problem. And they don't want to
mm,
release it all at once, because you can't let that trapped blood just go back into your system. That could cause a
mhm,
problem in itself. So you want to slowly release that back into your body. You definitely want to have like ace bandage. That's a multi-purpose item right there. And if you can, add you some rubber gloves so that you can again cover your hands, keep things out. Make sure that your first aid kit has something like Neosporin or triple antibiotic ointment in it. If it doesn't, add it to it. Also, chapstick, because extreme summer and extreme winter, lips can get cracked, and when skin breaks, infection can get in. If you can
mhm,
cover the lips with that balm, it softens the skin, it keeps the cracking down. And then even if I was to get a scratch on my arm, and I didn't have time to treat it right away, I could take uh, that lip balm and run it over back and forth over top of that scratch, and that will put a covering, a protective covering over top of that scratch, and prevent any infection from setting in if I'm in a heavy track and I've got to make time and I don't have time to stop. That'd be one of the things that you could have that would be a great use. Uh, Having a cold pack uh,
Right.
or swelling is ideal. There's many other things inside here that you would want to have along with gauze, tape, medical tape, other things of that nature. But a lot of the kits don't come with very much antibiotic ointment, so you do want to buy you some triple antibiotic ointment, a tube of it, or some neosporin, and also have a tourniquet. That's going to be super valuable to have. So
Now,
go
and
ahead. I'm
not to
sorry.
be funny, but how about this might sound funny to some people, but um like feminine hygiene pads, as
Okay.
far as like you were saying with the bleeding. Well, I've
Okay.
heard that those are very good items to have.
This is one right here. This is a feminine hygiene pad,
Hmm.
and it's ideal to have because you can take duct tape or you could take medical tape. And if you got a big laceration on your arm, you don't have a tourniquet or something, you have to make a compound bandage real quick. You could slap that on. You want it to be non deodorant, it's got to be just a plain one. Put that on, wrap it with tape, and that'll make a pressure bandage that would help try to stop the bleeding. Because again, the key thing here is controlling the bleeding. You'll want to have some
Hmm.
stop bleed or hang on, I can't think of the Israeli item that they use, but what it is it's a hemostatic agent. And when you pour it on the wound, or if it comes in a pad, if you're using the pads and you put it on the wound, it causes blood to gel. And when it
Hmm.
gels, helps to create a clot. And at that point, you can again stop the bleeding. And you can
Hmm.
get that at like Myers and in the pharmacy area, and there'd be other areas, different pharmacies. If you go in there, look for stop bleed, and they have it. It's about $15. You get like 5 or 6 of the pads inside, and that's invaluable to have in the case someone becomes injured and you got to stop the bleeding in a hurry. So that would be
Hmm.
one thing there. But a first aid kit is a must-have on any get home bag or any of the bags. You have to have some sort of a first aid kit because
And,
injuries will happen.
mhm.
Go ahead. I'm
And
sorry.
what else? And what all should you have in your first aid kit? I know these questions are elementary, but just in case, because there's a lot of first aid kits out there, and some of them are garbage. So what are some of the things that a person should definitely have in their first aid kit?
Well, again, a tourniquet is going to be needed. You're going to need tweezers in case somebody gets something stuck in their skin or something that you can pull out with. You're going to need gauze pads, ace bandages, triple antibiotic ointment. If you want to have iodine or alcohol prep pads, that's great. Also, um, a bottle of hand sanitizer.
Hmm.
That could be used to start a fire with. It can also be used to clean your instruments if you have to dig into a wound. It also can be used to sanitize your hands in the event you don't have rubber gloves. Um, Again, I've got different pads here and different gauze of different sizes. Uh, these are like the alcohol prep pads,
Hmm.
the chapstick, the lip balm. Then you definitely want to have some rolls of tape because you're going to have to be able to tape that stuff down. And like I said earlier, a good instant cold pack in case of swelling. Uh, this again is more gauze that you can wrap around wounds, but I've got all kinds of stuff in here.
Hmm.
Uh, but those are the main things because again, your main concern is to stop bleeding if at all possible. Um,
Mhm.
you're not going to have as much in your get home bag medical wise as you probably would have in your bug out bag. But the IFAC and infantry first aid kit, they run about 25 bucks when you can find them. I found those to be very adequate for a quick fix in a bad situation. So
Mhm.
I would recommend definitely adding that to the outside or whatever of your kit so that's easily accessible. You don't want it to be in the bottom of your bag somewhere and you got to dig everything out to get to it because if time is critical, you got to be able to get to something quick. Then the
Mm.
next thing that I have on the outside would be a tactical flashlight.
Right.
You want something of substantial power and you want to have it loaded with batteries and have an extra set of batteries on you if you can. Another thing I have on the outside of my pack, and this would be a cutting tool,
Mhm. Very important.
right? And you want to get something of a decent name brand, something that's going to hold the edge. Don't be cheap on that. Get you something of quality because if it won't hold an edge long, it's not going to do you much good. And you're
Mhm.
going to use it to do all kinds of things with, including to help you make fires, help build shelters, self defense. Uh, yeah, just I mean, there's so many uses that you can't not have a cutting tool on you.
Right.
When you get into you get open here, I
Mhm.
go on the
And I'll
inside.
bring Mr. Brother Sanford in. If you're
Okay.
ready, Brother Sanford, I'll bring you on in. Greetings, brother. How you doing?
Having some great technical difficulties, but I'm maintaining.
Hey, it's looking good. It's looking good. I thank you. I appreciate you coming on, and we're gonna get to you here in a few. And if you want to just jump on in, just jump on in as well.
Okay.
I got another spool of tape here, smaller tape. And then if those old pill bottles that you run out of pills in,
Yeah.
save you one, put some Tylenol, some Advil, some Neosporin, not Neosporin, but uh, gosh, I got the round tip of my tongue.
I got
Some sort of
some.
ibuprofen for swelling. You can mix different things in here and stick that down in your bag because again, if you start to get problems with headache or swelling or fever, whatever, those little remedies will keep you going. Because if you can treat the symptoms, that's going to keep you in the game. In
And
case I
I'll show you. I'll show you mine too. I'll put mine up real quick. Like you said, I got these. I hardly ever throw these away. These things are, of course, I've taken the label off of them. But you can put cord in here. You can put a number of different items that you can stuff down in here that will keep it. That will keep it in order,
dry.
if you will.
Uh, then I also have, in case I would need to make a fire, I have a big lighter.
Mm,
I'm not going to have one of those things that you got to scrape it to make the sparks because
right.
if something's slightly damp or whatever, it's going to be hard to ignite it as it is. But as long as I've got that hand sanitizer and that cotton gauze, uh, I can get me a fire going uh, with that cigarette lighter
Hmm.
in case because I do carry bottled water with me in case I don't and I have to
Yeah.
go to the stream. I won't throw away my empty bottles because those will carry water and go down to a stream, put one of these inside, wait the allotted time, and then that water will be safe for me to drink. Now,
Hmm.
in the event that I don't want to wait that long. My thirst is great. I have a life straw. These
Right.
are good. These are good for 1,000 gallons. Just put it up to
Okay.
your mouth, open the bottom, stick it down into whatever the water source is, and you're able to drink immediately. The bottled waters gives you the ability to be able to transport water with you. And I carry 2 bottled waters with me in my kit. Then in
And
case
let's
I get
go
hungry,
into let's go back a little bit to the item that you put before us, the flashlight. A lot of people may not see the relevance in having a flashlight. What is that? What is that flashlight for?
well, again, the bug out, the get home bag is designed for a day and a half. So let's say you don't know, disasters don't call ahead to schedule with you when they're going to occur. Let's say something
Mhm.
happens after dark, to be able to have something of significant strength to be able to see an approaching threat. You don't want the threat to be right up on you before you recognize it. You want to catch it at a distance and then hope that you can avoid it. Or walking at night, you don't want to trip and fall over the edge of a cliff or step into a hole and twist your ankle or something. You want to see where you're walking. You want to see what's coming at you. Hear a noise in the night, and you want to identify the threat. Flashlight's going to be vital. I mean, you have to be able to see where you're going and what you're doing. Or if you're treating wounds after dark, you can put that flashlight in your mouth and just shine it down. And while you're working with your hands, I mean,
Mhm.
it's going to have multiple uses to be able to provide light. And if you have to signal for help, that flashlight is going to be valuable. So, I mean, if you're stuck in a car alongside of a road in a snowstorm and you can hear something at a distance, you can get out there with that flashlight and try to signal or wave somebody down so that you can get you some help. I mean,
Mhm.
without that flashlight, how are they going to know where to find you?
Right. Excellent. Thank you. I'll see if
Yeah.
Brother Sanford is ready. Peace, Brother Sanford. How's it going to you? You looking
Life's better, brother. Life's better.
all right, all right. And as you probably already know, that we're talking about the get home bags. Brother Aaron is taking us through some of the items that we should definitely have in our bag, where we should store our bag, and why we should even have a get home bag. And this is just part one, because there are, as Brother Aaron is saying, a number of different other bags that are, I guess, another level of emergency that we should have on us. What would you like to say, brother, about the get home bag?
Well, I know I probably missed a whole bunch. I'm pretty sure, as thorough as Aaron is, that my brother took care of it. I'm 100% sure of that. Um,
Absolutely.
I don't know what all he mentioned. I got one of my bags kind of next to me that I got some
Okay.
other things in. I actually have a combination of bags prepared for a couple of things. So I heard him talk about flashlight and lighting source. I heard him talk about medical stuff. I just dug inside one, got my medical kit that came out of my bag. Um, all the stuff you mentioned is the exact same things I have. I keep a couple
Hmm.
bottles of water. Um, I don't know if you mentioned a Leatherman or any kind of small toolkit or not,
Not yet, but go ahead.
but one of the things I keep in my bag is an all-purpose toolkit, and I keep a Leatherman. That's a multi-purpose kit that literally has a saw, screwdriver, pliers, a wrench, and then I keep a separate. I know he talked about the knife. Now I keep a regular pocket knife, and I also keep a little larger knife that's maintained for certain situations that I keep in my get home bag too. Um, but everything I heard him say is exactly what I got. I got water. I got even life straws. I even got a couple of I got a couple of blankets. that help keep you warm. Then I keep another bag in the car that I keep a pair of jeans in, a sweatshirt, a pair of work boots, extra pair of socks, a skull cap, even in the summertime, and a pair of work gloves. And I keep those in a separate bag from my other stuff. So one can actually go over my shoulder, but they both can go on my shoulder cross if I want to. And I maintain that, and I make sure it's funny. I change the batteries every 3 months in my flashlight, and then I keep a flashlight that's a rechargeable flashlight also. I try to maintain 2 sources. I also maintain a headlamp, almost like miners wear, and I maintain one of those in my bag because I may have to have my hands to use my hands, and I need a light source. So I try to maintain that. Even in my get home bag, I still got. I don't know if he talked about this. I keep a lighter and waterproof mattress in my get home bag.
Yeah. You said what was that again?
A lighter and waterproof mattress.
Okay. Right.
I should keep those in my get home bag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
in case. I keep a couple of the breakaway kind of flares. You know, you talked about light source. I keep one is red, one is green in the bag. Try to show if I'm in distress with the colors. So, like I said, knowing Aaron, I know Aaron. I know he covered. And now,
Right.
one of the things I don't know if as he talked about a knife, one of the things I believe in, I keep a couple of defensive tools in my everyday carry possession too when I get home bag. So I keep a firearm that's designed just for that particular thing, and a certain kind of firearm that's designed for kind of overall general use that I keep in the get home bag. And you know that's self-defense at a last resort, but I do keep that on hand at all times.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yes, sir.
Then I want
Right.
to add spare box of shells too, because you don't know how bad the situation is, and you don't want to engage. You want to avoid contact at all possible, but you get trapped somewhere and have to defend yourself. You need enough rounds to be able to get yourself out of trouble if you can. Then another thing, if you're in unfamiliar territory and you're in an area that you don't know much about, I carry a compass.
Mm.
Try to be able to help find my way out of a situation, but that can give you a direction that you can travel in. If you know, say you're in a state park somewhere, and if you know where the ranger stations are or where the stores are, and you know you have to go in a certain direction, if you follow that compass heading, you can lead yourself out of danger. Then, like I said, I carry 2 bottles of water, and when these run empty, I don't throw them away, because with the use of the water purification tablets, I can carry water with me. The live straw is great, but I have to move water source to water source. But if I hold on to my plastic bottles instead of throwing them away, it gives me the ability to carry water with me. Then again, seeing if you're going to be in the field for a day and a half, I have one, let me see, MRE. That stands for Meals Ready to Eat. This is the military meal. 1,400 calories in here. It's got dessert. It's got main entree. It's got trail mix. It's got coffee, salt, pepper, creamer for the coffee. It's got a pack of sugar.
Wow.
It's got cookies in it. It's everything that you need. Now, you don't have to eat it all in one setting, and you wouldn't want to. And then it's not probably good for you nutrition wise. I also carry a can of Vienna sausages.
Mm-hmm.
Easy to pop open. I can eat them on the road while I'm walking. And they keep for a long time. Now, true for if you've got salt sensitivities, they are higher in salt, but
Hmm.
that's something that you have to deal with. Then I also have a pack of this is what you mix in your water. Say it's extreme summertime, it's extremely hot outside, and you start feeling lightheaded from the heat that you're walking in. This is a like a Gatorade mix. It's going to put the electrolytes back into your body to where you can deal with that heat and continue to move. So I have one of those in there. And wherever you got a canteen or you got a bottled water, uh, if the water's tasting brackish that you got from the pond or whatever, that's a way of making it more palatable to you to where you can drink it and it won't be so bad tasting.
Let's go.
Then,
Let's
I'm
go
sorry, go
real
ahead.
quick to some other food items that we might be able to store in our get home bag. And so you showed us that a small thing of Vienna sausage. Of course, there's the sardines that you can get from the store, and they run you about, well, they used to be $1. Inflation, they probably about $10 now, but. I wish I was joking too, right? But these you can they're pretty inexpensive and they can store pretty well. Miss Brother Sanford, how about yourself? Can you think of any other items like that that are
Well, well, I keep
food items?
trail mix. I keep trail mix in my car all the time. I,
Mm.
that has raisins in it, dried cranberries, um, cashews, almonds. I keep those all the time. I keep a supply of those. I keep some in the compartment of the vehicle and actually some in the rear compartment of the vehicle. I maintain those all the time, and that's my like go to
All
because
right.
it's easy to move with. I don't have to worry about a way of opening it up because it's easy to open packages, and
Hmm.
it's typically something that you can share with other people. So I always keep 2 bags of this large trail mix or like a cranberry, almond, and raisin mix. I keep that all the time. That's
All
all of
right.
that. Yeah.
And how about protein bar? Oh, and then you get right back on into it, brother Aaron. How about protein bars or energy bars? Is that something that uh
Granola bars and stuff. That's great. That's great.
okay. Okay, go right ahead.
Okay. And I have a pack of cheese spread that I can spread on crackers or I could just slip on it while I'm walking. And a lot of people, and this is what I have right here, my addition pack. You can see a thing of ketchup here. I've got a pack of honey in there, little condiments that you get from the store for free. You'd be surprised how much energy honey will give you. And you don't have to put it on something. You can just squeeze it into your mouth while if you're having to take a long trek in the woods or something, and it's going to give you instant energy after it gets into your system, and it'll fuel you for a while. So
Mm,
that having that extra thing, let's say my entree with my MRE may not be as tasty. Well, I've got salt and pepper. I got ketchup in here. I got some plasticware in here that they give you free. That's still inside the cellophane that I can use to eat with. Uh, there's just different things. Pack of hot sauce that I got in here, and then also in case Mother Nature calls and you got to go to the bathroom, I got a partial roll of toilet paper. That's instead of throwing it away, I just put it in the bug out bag because again, I'm only going to be out there for a day and a half at most with my kit. So Mother Nature calls, you probably
right.
want to clean yourself, so you don't be
Yeah.
walking around
You
feeling
know that's right.
uncomfortable.
And they
But
have, and I have some in the back. I don't have them out here in front of me, but they have some of those. They look like horse pills, but you just put a little bit of water onto them, and they spread out into into like a napkin that you can then use. They're pretty good. Um, Let me think. What else was the
Oh,
oh,
you're
I
still
wanted
talking
to
about
ask
food?
yeah, go ahead. Hmm.
No, I said if you're still talking about food, I'll wait while you do it. Oh, let me recommend also the cellophane packs of tuna fish. Uh, they're
Hmm.
flat and they fit into the cracks and crevices of your get home bag and even your bug out bag. Those things fit in perfect. You don't have to have mayonnaise. You can mix it with hot sauce, and you can get it down. And it's heavy in protein. It's going to fuel you, and it's going to make you feel full. So that's what you want.
And I remember what I was gonna say real quick, brother Aaron, and then I'll let you go. I mean, brother Sanford, then I'll let you go. Is what came to mind was a spork. A spoon or a fork, and those are, when you go to, for instance, any type of fast food restaurant, instead of, grab you a few and throw them into your to go bag. Those are excellent things. So you don't have to necessarily eat them with your hands. You got you a nice spork. But go right ahead, brother Sanford.
One of the things I keep too, I keep 3 of those, and I'm not a big super caffeine guy, but I keep 3 of those little individual packages that have like the cellulose drink stuff in it. You can mix with water to give you some
Mhm.
energy if you feel like you need it. I think those are important to have. And I was gonna say, Aaron said earlier about the electrolytes. I keep those. Um, I got straws, man, regular straws. If I go to a restaurant, I grab 2 or 3 straws and I
Mhm.
put it to the. I keep with me in the car all the time, and I always keep a writing utensil of some sort. I
Mm.
keep something to write with in a pad, and then in the trunk, I got some lime green spray paint.
Hmm.
And if I ever get out and I had to go to the woods or get in a dark area, I can kind of mark where I am if I need to try to backtrack and find where I took steps from. And I keep a little can of lime green spray paint.
Hmm.
And some people look at that and they laugh and say, "Man, you got spray paint in the car?" I say, "Yeah." They have no idea it's a marking utensil. And then even if I get lost, if I can contact somebody, I can tell them, "Hey, I marked this area." And one of the things I just started using and keeping was a rechargeable thing for your cell phone. And
Mm.
so once it's charged, it holds the charge for a while. So if your phone starts to die, you can actually put it on it and it'll recharge your phone for you.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I just I just start putting that in the car.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah, that's a good item to have. They have those solar powered little battery packs. You when I first started getting those solar powered battery packs, you literally would have to sit that thing out in the sun for almost like a week for it to charge. But I think the ones that they have, now are faster charging, and that's a good item to have, like you said, because your cell phone goes out, then you're stuck. But if you can have, an extra battery pack and it can be charged by the sun, then you can keep that thing going for a while.
right,
Hopefully you won't need it that long.
right,
But right.
I
That,
tell you something, an emergency that you can use uh, to jump your phone with. That's a standard 9-volt battery. You need the what do you call that? The cigarette lighter plug that
yeah,
goes into your cigarette lighter. And then me and Sanford made a bunch of these and demonstrated them. Um, it's a wire with alligator clips on each end, and you can utilize this with that uh, lighter plug and this little gizmo that me and Sanford made, and you can put a 5-minute charge back on your phone using a 9-volt battery.
mm,
So, and I keep that with me inside my bag.
right.
Well, one day we're at a what do you call it? When we have the workshops, I'll stand there and demonstrate how to do that so everybody can see it. I did it one time at at an event down in Cincinnati, and they made me do it 4 times in a row. And I'm like, I'm not doing magic tricks here. This is just way things work, and this is way that you can jury rig something and have something in an emergency so that you can use your phone. But nobody wanted to believe that that would work, but it does, and that's all all a person needs to do.
All right.
Okay, but
And
then let me see. Oh, this was something else. Again, I have the cigarette lighter in case you get stuck in the snow. This is called an NCO candle. They're not very big. You can get like 3 of them in a pack for about $6 or $7, and they give off heat. If you're stuck in your car and you light 2 or 3 of those candles, now again, you got to stay awake, because if something knocks the candle down, you can have a fire in there with you. But if you put a little wax on the bottom, stick it up on the dashboard, it will create enough heat inside the car that you will be slightly warm. Now, you're not going to be toasty warm, but you're not going to have frostbite or anything like that that you got to worry about. And you can get these in the camping section of Walmart or Myers or somewhere. It's just NCO candles, and they burn for 9 hours. This little bitty thing here is probably about 4 inches long. In a blackout, this will burn for 9 hours. So if I want to save my flashlight batteries for when absolute emergency is, but I need light, having a candle inside will save you some time.
Right. And I wanted to say too, like you were saying, Brother Stanford, is that I remember that I was traveling, and I did the old Walmart sleepover. So I parked my vehicle. I was in a van, and like you all say, I already had my to-go bag. And one of the things that I did have, and it was winter, and it was snow outside, and it was very cold, but I was comfortable because I had that blanket that was able to keep that heat. When I covered myself, it was able to keep that heat in and the cold out. So I can't stress enough, like you're saying, to have a blanket in your vehicle as well, especially in the winter. Have a good insulating blanket.
Now, one of the things
And
that I
and
I purchased
and one
recently.
one other thing too, I'm sorry, one other thing
Okay.
too is, having one of those, I don't know what they're exactly called. They're not exactly called a blanket, but they're like a blanket. But if you have to do any type of repairs on your cars, that's also a thing that you want to have, because it will keep you from uh uh being directly onto the ground, if you will. So if you have to get up under the car, that's an excellent thing to have to keep you from suffering any type of hypothermia.
Yeah, it's an emergency blanket is what it's called.
Hmm.
You can get those for about $2 a piece. They're not overly
Hmm.
expensive.
And those I got, and I don't have them here in front of me either, is those little silver packet blankets that you always see in the some of those crime shows where they're at the ambulance and they got the people covered in those silk blankets.
Yeah,
They
that's
work.
the emergency blanket.
Mhm.
They come in 2 different sizes. You have the real thin ones, which is what you're talking about, and then they got the much thicker ones. It's like 3 or 4 times thicker, and you probably see people with those around them when they're at the football games and it's real cold outside.
Mhm.
They've got a little
Yeah.
bit more insulation to them, but they reflect your body heat back towards you. So that's what makes them so nice.
Mhm. Excellent.
I tell you a thing I just recently purchased. It's small. I don't know if it's called like a. It's not a jump pack. It's stronger than that. It's but it'll start any car. I mean, the amperage you get from it are unbelievable. And I talked to a guy that worked for AAA, and he suggested it. And he showed me what they use. I mean, it's unbelievable. It costs a little bit of money, but you
Mm.
charge it every 3 months. What's really nice about it, when I mentioned about having a rechargeable flashlight, it has attachments that you can actually run your phone, your flashlight, and everything off of for an extended period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like a mini jump box I got in the back of my car. So should have brought it here to
Yeah,
see it.
I
It's,
got it right out there in the front. I should go and grab it. Let me go grab that
yeah,
real quick,
it's
and
some
you
real
go
people
ahead,
need to see it. Yeah.
and I'll show people.
I'm looking forward to doing a workshop, Aaron.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
I am
think
too.
I'm excited about people coming and learning some different ways to prepare themselves to make it through a short incident, like we're talking about getting home.
Yeah.
I think it's essential.
And
I think it's important too for men to share these things with their wives and their daughters and their
mhm.
sons. I don't think we hear enough of families talking about what you need to make this thing happen. So I hope people decide to take this information and share it with their children also. Start teaching them right now. And that way, they learn to create a lifestyle in this, not just make this something that's haphazard.
Mm-hmm.
And two other items I recommend a person have in their bag. That's a pair of sunglasses, because if it's the winter
Mm-hmm.
time and you're having a walk, the light reflecting up off the sun can give you blind, can actually make you become blind. Anytime you see people on treks in Alaska or going up a snowy mountain, they got on dark sunglasses so that they can save their eyesight. Plus, in the summertime, it shields your eyes. And then in the event that the wind is blowing debris or whatever, it's eye protection that will give you a limited amount of protection for your eyes. And then the other thing would be a bandana. You can get a bandana for $1 or $2 at a thrift store somewhere. Those are multi-purpose. You can put them around you and make a sling for your arm. They become a dust mask to keep dust out of your mouth if you got your
Mm-hmm.
sunglasses on and stuff. If you got a head wound, they can cover your head, or they can be used as a head covering in the event that it's raining outside. I can cut pieces of it off and use for fire tinder to make fire. I can cut strips of it off to tie splints to my legs in case of a leg injury, and I got to make leg splints. It's a multi-purpose item. So, and then you could even tie it as a bandage over a wound or something. There's so many uses. There's probably like 25 or 26 uses of a bandana. So I usually try to keep two with me in my bags because they're anything that's multi-purpose, it goes in the bag. Okay,
And
I'll
I
stop
wanted
there,
to
Steve.
say, yep, I got this right here. Let me see. This right here, believe it or not, this is like a little poncho. You
Okay.
could just slip in your bag. It's very very cheap, but when you think about the rain coming down, this is nice because it's got a little hood and it'll cover you real thin and it's thin so it can just slide right in and it doesn't take up too much room. And then I just brought that one item that you were talking about, little like a little mini battery. Let me see if I can get it. And like you said, it's got where you could plug in items here. You can plug in your cell phone here. Yeah, so these little things, these little batteries are really good to have in your car. And this thing, it has a hose where you can inflate your tire. So it's a multi-purpose, definitely a multi-purpose battery. But yep, those type of things are really good to have. So as usual, the hour passes fast. But for those who are watching, we want to say please like and subscribe to our channel. Um, give it a thumbs up because that just definitely helps us with the algorithms and gets this program out in front of other people. And also join our Patreon site. That's a site where you can join for free. However, If you want to help to sponsor and support the program, you could join for $5, $3, $5, and I think $10. So each of those tiers, of course, you get a little extra. But with that, um, is there anything you all want to say before we close out on this part one of uh, to go bags? And we're talking about get home bags. This is the first line of defense, if you will.
Yeah, I
Well,
would more or less say that we covered everything that you'd have because the get home bag is not going to have as much equipment in it as a bug out bag will or the good bag will. It's small, like I said, it's it's very small. It's probably a little bit bigger than a woman's purse, basically.
Hmm.
But you've got enough gear and equipment in it to keep you in the field for a good day, day and a half in the event that you had to walk and make it home. And if you knew that you could walk that distance in a day and a half, this is the bag that you want to carry in your car and have it handy that you can get to in an emergency. But outside of
Right,
that, uh, with the state of affairs going on in the world right now, don't get caught flat-footed. Get your
right.
bags started, get set up, and see what happens. Because when something goes down, you're ready. You were
Right.
ready because you stayed ready. You not badly
Hmm.
reacting to a situation. You're out in front of it, and that's where you want to be when something goes on. Is out in front of danger, so that it don't catch up with you. And I'll stop
Man.
there.
Yeah, I just wanted to just veg you back and reiterate what you just said, really, is that, the time that we're living in is it's a very serious time. And so some say that it's that we're looking possibly at societal collapse. We're looking at possibly anarchy. We're looking at just everything. So it just is important for us to take this time seriously, and once again to not allow too many things to distract us from what we need to do to survive. And so with that, I want to thank you brothers once again for helping us to understand these vital components of survival. Brother Sanford, is there anything that you would like to say before we close on out?
yeah, real quick. Even with the get home bag, keep it practical. Like Aaron said, make sure you don't have too much stuff you can't transport because you can overdo something where you can enable your ability to move and transport with the items.
Mm,
So you don't want to have too many items because then you can't even move with the items. Um, Along with that, what you just said about taking time to take this serious, I think everything in life you need to block out time for what you want. So you should dedicate a certain amount of time in this preparedness. So I'm not saying you crash your head and you go all in at once, but take the time and say, you know what, I'm gonna dedicate 2 hours this week to getting my stuff together. A half hour this day to get my stuff together. It's kind of like working out. And if you do that, then you'll be ready so you don't have to get ready.
man, that's so true. And I think next time I would love to talk to you all about communication and in a situation like that, because uh if a situation like that happens, then we may not be able to use our cell phone because of all the other people who are trying to get through to loved ones and whatnot. And so I think there are some apps on that you can download on your phone to make it like a walkie-talkie, and there are also some and like I don't have it with me, but it is, I forget what it's called. I haven't had to use it, but it's a device to where if your family member has it, then somehow it can relay through that device and connect with their I, I'll have to look at it and bring it back in. So we'll have to do a program on communication, the various forms of how people can communicate in an emergency. But with that, I want to thank you all. And I want to thank those who are watching. I mean, we have some We have some individuals who have put things in the chat. And what we're going to do as we begin to grow is we're going to allow people who are in the chat to pose questions, and we'll put those questions up on the screen. Or if they would like to come on, we can bring them on live and they can ask questions, and we'll put the link into the chat, and people can hit that link and come on live and ask us questions. So, but with that, brothers, may God continue to bless you and those who are listening in the audience with the light of truth and understanding. May God continue to bless you and your family. God bless.